Hi guys, so it's September now, which means sort of back to school and university for most of us, and I know that that can be a really stressful time because you've got schoolwork, you've got homework, you've got to balance a social life on top of that, and maybe on top of all that you might have some pretty big exams coming up this year. So I thought I would give you some tips that I've come across in my years of studying psychology and maybe help you reduce that stress a little bit. So that's what we're going to do today. So the first thing that I want to talk about is called classical conditioning. It's basically based around the theory of association. The theory is that if you associate, say, a date that you're trying to remember for history class with a tune or a colour or maybe a picture, then if you sit in the exam and you remember the picture or the colour or the music, it'll make it easier to remember what you're trying to write about in the exam. That was a really long-winded way of saying things, but hopefully it made sense. So for example, do you guys remember that advert that was on British TV a couple of years ago? There was this insurance company called HastingsDirect.com or something like that, and they had a little jingle that had the date of the Hastings War in it. It went 1066, and so by doing that you can see that we can remember a date for a war just by having that little jingle. It's really stupid, but it works, and I probably look really stupid right now, but I'm doing it for you, whoever you are. The second thing that I want to talk about is really helpful. You need to figure out what kind of learner you are. This is really simple to figure out, and it's really helpful. You can be either a visual learner, an auditory learner, or a tactile learner. You probably know which one you are already. You can be a mix, but just to make it simpler, let's break it down. A visual learner learns best when they look at things. Pretty simple. So you might use the association by associating the things that you're trying to remember with a colour, or maybe by writing things down and then reading them again, writing them down and reading them again. That's just a good way to remember that stuff. An auditory learner is someone who learns best when they have things told to them or they hear things. So you can use association by using that jingle that I just talked about to remember things. Or maybe another way of doing that is to record yourself talking about the thing that you're trying to remember and then listening to it again. It might feel really weird, but chances are if you're an auditory learner, that's what's best for you. Tactile learners are the people who, they need to fidget or have something to do with their hands while they're learning, which I clearly am. Might be criticised because in class you can't stop fidgeting, or you need to have something to do with your hands. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, and you can use it to your advantage. So something that helped my boyfriend out was, he plays the drums. He would associate rhythms with the thing that he was trying to remember, and then in the exam he would tap out or think of that specific rhythm, and it would help him remember what he was trying to think of. Another thing that you might find really helpful is knowing that memory is incredibly specific. Studies have shown that your memory is at its best when the environment that you learn the stuff in is very similar to the environment where you have to recall it. So let's take a look at the environment in which you're going to be recalling all of this information. It's very quiet, there's no background noise, hopefully. You're sat at a desk, bolt upright in one of those really uncomfortable chairs. So the best environment for you to revise in is a quiet one where you have a desk and you sat upright, not in bed, not with background noise, not with music. So I know it sucks, but that's the best way to do it. So yeah, that's all I've got for today. I'm sorry that this video is a little bit more serious than some of my other ones. I hope that it was helpful. One thing that I will say is that nobody but you knows the best way for you to learn. So you need to figure out what's best for you, and then maybe use the tips that I've given you today, and once you've figured out how you work best, then it'll be, relatively smooth sailing. So yeah, that's it. Good luck to everyone that has big exams this year. Good luck to everyone that doesn't, because you know school's pretty hard. But that's all I got for today. So thank you for listening and have fun at school. Bye!